Now we're going to move on to flow. This is collective learning flow. Organizational, we're going to take what should be happening as an individual and amplify that to the collective within organizations. So let's talk about the multiplication of the continuous creative state. If you were to take this in knowledge-based organizations and just amplify it. And we also have amplifiers which help with it. So let's move on. The multiplication of the continuous creative flow. Look at unified systems thinking. Simply, if we were to talk scientifically, everything is connected. Everybody knows that. In science, everything is connected intricately. It is. So why wouldn't it be the same for an organization? This is very, very clear in a book that I will show you in just a second. The illumination of individual and collective blind spots. Now, what that simply means is, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and you actually have to work on this because not everybody will be open, but it's certainly relevant and worthwhile if you want to increase speed and flow of knowledge. And of course you want to look at, I don't know everything. Am I going to be detached from my ego to allow somebody else to tell me, maybe you have a blind spot in your thinking there? Now, most of us know how this is. The tendency, because of ego, would be to say, screw you, how dare you question me in front of all of my colleagues, and everybody shuts down. Is that efficient? No, it's not efficient at all, especially if you're trying to learn as a collective, which is critically important in knowledge-based organizations. So how to be able to do this as a collective, ego-free, so the knowledge flow back and forth. This increases efficiencies. Inefficiency, I'll give a specific example of my own. When I was working for a large telecommunications company in Germany, the chief marketing officer had a huge ego. He wasn't German. He actually came from India. Okay, so it doesn't really matter who's from where. Everybody's got it. So this guy had all of his ego needs. He's got to have everybody running around, everybody, excuse my French, kissing his butt, right? Because he's the boss. Well, guess what that did? That shut people down. People became cynical. People became less engaged. It affected the entire system what we were trying to do in terms of efficiency, getting the project done. It reduced it. It increased the efficiencies dramatically. That's not a smart idea. So if we were to talk about authenticity, already mentioned this, how to interact with people from our truest form of self. This facilitates flow, knowledge, wisdom, good feeling, rapport between people, very important. And of course, mindfulness as a tool to be able to unlock that as a collective. And of course, I already mentioned detached involvement. To be in a group of people in this social space that's very much alive, where ideas are being exchanged or knowledge flowing. As soon as you have somebody who comes along with his ego and says, this is dumb, or I disagree, I don't like what you're doing here, that poisons the social space. It radically increases inefficiencies. So of course this is very, very important to be totally aware of how you are interacting with the social space with all of your passions, but at the same time back up when you need to see the bigger picture emerge. These are a couple of books that I would recommend anybody to read. If we're going to talk about systems thinking, this is Mr. Peter Senge, The Fifth Discipline. So the Harvard Business Review said this is what was one of the 5 best books of all time ever written in business management. It's very important to read. Systems thinking. And then we have Theory U by Otto Scharmer. You guys can go online and download an executive summary, which will give you a very clear idea of what he's talking about, and it is the next generation of business thinking, if that interests you, of course. Now let's move on to the next point. I'm going to read this very long quote out loud so you don't have to. We've already moved from management to leadership, and we're about to go beyond leadership to inspiration. In the 21st century, organizations have to achieve peak performance by creating the conditions that allow them to unleash the power of their people, not by leading them, not by managing them, but by co-inspiring them. So this is very, very important. How do we inspire ourselves to be able to give the best that we can? How can organizations do that for us? You guys are leaders. If you guys are going to be leaders in one of the greatest companies in Norway, then this is important information. How are you going to engage your people? Is it just through money anymore? Money's important, but that's not going to make people stand up every day and give their passions, right? It's a part of it, but we have to look at inspiring people from a deeper level. So now let's just be more interactive. Who of you out there listening feels, I'm asking everybody, who of you feels that it is important that your lives have meaning? Raise your hand. Okay, good, thank you. Who amongst you feels that it is important to be able to leave a legacy or the world better than you found it? Please raise your hands again. Who thinks that's important? Okay, less people. Okay, good. So guess what that is? What that signifies to me is simply that this is a market demand. Everybody's feeling this, especially your age. This is a demand. How do you satisfy this demand? As leaders, how do you engage this in your workforce? So let's look at some amplifiers to creative thinking. Simply, service is something greater than ourselves. I don't know. This could take many forms in Statoil. It's a big company. But then how do you engage that? How do you help people feel that they're giving something greater than themselves? This is also very, very important because it takes people away from ego. It's all about me, no more. If it's about something greater than myself, then my ego plays no part in it. And you can point that out every single time. It facilitates flow. Keeps people real. And then the continued development of the higher self. What is the higher self? I don't know. My development as a human being. Am I just all about being able to do projects better, being able to do my job better at the desk, Excel sheets or whatever else? Or how do I develop my greatest potential to be able to give back to this organization? How does this organization allow me to do that? That is an amplifier to collective creativity. So this increases inspiration, of course, learning, engagement, and retention. People want to work at an organization like this. They will also flock to you if they can get that. Improve the recruitment. You'll be able to pick and choose who you want to have. And of course, it gives a strategic advantage that's very hard to copy if you really take that seriously as an organization. If you really take that seriously and you integrate it into how you do things, then this is going to be a strategic advantage that's very hard to copy. We all know this. And of course, one of the last things I have to say is Stephen Covey. He is one of the big management gurus in the United States, strategic management. He talks about the whole person paradigm. 4 components, 2 of which are spirit and mind. Spirit simply means to leave a legacy, need for meaning, contribution, and integrity. Those are important to creating the whole person, as well as to learn, grow, and develop as human beings. This is not coming from me. This is coming from a very, very well-renowned US strategist thinker. So in conclusion, won't go on anymore, other than to say the fact that you guys are the next leaders of Statoil. We know that in knowledge-based organizations, it's very, very important to be creative. It's very important to learn. And it's very important that we learn the skills to be able to allow that to happen. With ourselves and with people below us, people above us, we can serve as inspirational people to even those above us. We're younger. We're the next generation of outstanding business thinkers. Thinkers in general. So how will you use this information? It's your choice. But it's coming. It's necessary. It's relevant. So take it seriously. Enjoy it. It's a work of art. I'm not even going to talk about these because I already did. Gu Yul, thank you very much for allowing me the honor of being able to present this information to you. Thank you.